Hey everyone, thanks for checking out our latest video. But before we begin our final day of our canoe trip down the Noire River, we just wanted to give a huge shout out to all of you for watching all of our videos and adventures. We really do appreciate everyone who's liked, commented, subscribed. It really does go such a long way for content creators. So thank you very much.
Alex and I love reading all the comments and going back and forth with all of you watching. It is such a blast for us. And what we would love to hear is what your favorite part of this series has been. And when Alex and I watch the videos and we edit them, there are so many that we find, but we'd love to hear from you what yours are. And really, there are so many good options. The gourmet food, the company, the 50-50 rapid tip over. We would love to hear from you about your favorite part of the series.
So leave a comment below. Let us know your favorite moment of the last few videos that we've done. We'd love to hear that. We'd love to comment.
Lastly, we want to say a huge shout out to MHO Adventures and our two guides, Jake and Micah. We had an absolute blast with this pair.
Oh, insane. It was great.
So
much fun.
So much fun. They kept us laughing and smiling the entire time, even as we were having a paddling lesson through the pouring rain. And even through our tip over, they kept us positive and upbeat, and just a huge thank you to these two because we had an absolute blast.
Yeah, 100%. They're cooking, if you can't already tell from our smiles on our faces in the videos.
We're still dreaming of it.
Oh, the food was phenomenal on this trip. You know, more exquisite than we normally cook on our backcountry canoe trips. So to have that kind of gourmet food on a canoe trip in the middle of the backwoods it was so amazing. However, don't just take our word for it. Go check out MHO's social media pages. They have a YouTube channel, an Instagram page, and a website with some incredible content on there. We just spent the morning looking over their website and all the amazing adventures that they have planned for the upcoming season, and some of them just look insane. So we'll leave all the links in the description box below.
So without further ado, let's start the last video of this series.
Y'all ready for this today?
Absolutely.
To start out day 6 of our final adventure, paddling down the Noire River in Quebec, we began by waking up and then wanted to get all of our gear packed away as quickly as we could so we could spend more time with the guests as our final day with everybody. So we rolled up our sleeping bags, our air mattresses, got the tent all packed down, and then began the fun task of trying to fit everything back into our blue watertight barrels that MHO provided for us.
As everything was packed down, we walked down to the campfire spot where our canoe tables were set up, and Micah, the evening before, prepped cinnamon buns, and you could smell them cooking in the Dutch oven. We were having homemade, freshly baked cinnamon buns for breakfast. We could not have been more excited.
With the fire burning, we grabbed our full bowls of food and sat down for one last fireside chat with all the guests, soaking up every last minute of our time out here alongside the river.
Once we were all fueled up for the day, we began the giant task of taking down and packing up all of our equipment for 12 people. Now,
we moved all the canoes down to the river's edge and began loading up all the boats with all of our gear. We did take one quick moment though before we all hopped in to take a big group photo, which was a ton of fun. And then Micah went over all of the directions as to what we would be expecting on our final day on the river.
We don't have clear features and it looks like it could just go anywhere. generally, the best way to go is on the outside of that turn, remembering that the bows person just wants to be watching for any rocks.
We were really, really pumped for today. We've been looking forward to our final day, as much as crazy as that sounds. But today, our final day, we had 14 kilometers of continuous white water. So our day was gonna look a little different than previous days, where we would stop at it before we got to a rapid and we would scout the rapids. So that's what we did previously. Today, we were just gonna continually run through all those rapids because they were going to be either a class 1 or just swifts, so nothing too crazy, but it would make for a very fast and exciting kind of final day on the river to just have 14 kilometers straight of some really exciting paddling.
Cross jump, cross jump. Okay, we're good. We're gonna go tight to it. Nice. Yeah, give me a high five after that.
No, if I'm gonna be like standing up.
I know, right? That was a ton of fun, our last day here.
Yeah, we had an awesome day running all these swifts. We were so happy with the water level that we had because any lower, we would have just been bouncing along bottom through some of these really shallow swift sections. The swifts were very fun. We ran them pretty much all ducky style, where one canoe followed after the other, and it kept your adrenaline up the whole time. I was almost more tired from this day than previous days because I was constantly looking ahead because there was so much shallow water, looking out for rocks and things that we were just gonna jar up against them as we were going through the swifts.
As we paddled along, we could see the terrain changing. It went from the beginning of our trip to really sandy banks, kind of steep cliffs down into the water.
And dense forests and not too along the shore.
Yeah, absolutely. Some really dense forest. But today, as we paddled along, we could see the terrain kind of leveling out. The river started to widen up.
And the shores became grassier as well as we started to get into town.
And eventually we could hear some lawnmowers and some traffic, unfortunately. The end of our journey was going to be marked at the Blackwater Inn. However, I don't believe the building is still standing anymore, so it made it a little bit difficult to know where we were finishing our trip. I think it burned down a couple of years ago. However, there is still a bridge over the river there, and that would be the second bridge that we'd be passing under. So once we rounded the last bend in the river, we could see the bridge up ahead. We paddled underneath of it. We stopped at the side. There was some very, very steep concrete steps to get out, and we spent the next, I don't know, half an hour to an hour unloading all 6 of our canoes, carrying all the gear up the bank to the road, and then we began helping the crew load everything onto their trailers and into their vans, and we just kind of sat back on the riverbank and watched the clouds float by for the last little bit, discussed the whole trip with everybody, which was a ton of fun. We had a few minutes while we waited for the next shuttle to come back and pick us up and take us back to our car and end this incredible adventure that we just went on.
And that wraps up our trip with MHO Adventures down the Noire River in Quebec, Canada.
Okay.
It was a pleasure.
See you later.
Yeah, nice meeting you.
Maybe we'll cross again on one of these trips.
Thanks so much, folks.
Yeah, you
Really
guys are
appreciate
awesome.
it. Have a
Thanks
good
so
one.
much. Thank you so much for watching this series. We had so much fun going on this adventure and sharing it with all of you, and we cannot wait to share our next adventure. So stay tuned.
Until next time, everybody.
How's my hair? Am I good?
Good, actually.
Camera.
Camera ready? Lots of body. It's got lots of sand too.
Giving it the body.
Volumizing sand. But before we start,
Let that beat drop.
Okay, we can't get the giggles.
You laughing? What was that noise?
It was just my throat.
Wow.
I wanted to be part of it. And then you want to just like fade to music or something, or like.
No one for to give you no pay.
God.